What's up, guys, and thanks for traveling with Trey today. I'm always taking you to places that you didn't know existed and that you didn't care existed. Today, I'm at the Transpeninsular Midpoint marker. This was a stone that was put down by Mason and Dixon to survey the borders between Delaware and Maryland. So let's take a look at this thing and relive history a little bit today. The story begins with a dispute between the Maryland and Delaware colonies. Charles Calvert of Maryland commissioned a map that originally showed Cape Henlopen at Fenwick Island. Realizing his mistake, because this would have decreased the size of Maryland and given more land to the Delaware colony, he tried to have the map he accepted retracted from official proceedings in court. If Calvert would have succeeded, Delaware would have been about 1,000 square miles smaller than what it is today, still a small state. Mason and Dixon used the line that was surveyed from east to west, from Fenwick Island to the Chesapeake Bay, beginning at what today is known as Delmar, a city that splits between Delaware and Maryland, to create the famous Mason-Dixon line, which ran south to north at this particular placement along the eastern shore. So this is the midpoint marker, guys. Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon put this marker down around 1764. They were hired by a company in England to solve this territorial dispute between the Maryland and Pennsylvania colonies. At the time, Delaware was being claimed by Pennsylvania. And so it's an interesting history. These guys made around 3,000 pounds to do their work, and they walked every inch of the borderline. It stretches from about Fenwick Island, the Fenwick Island Lighthouse in Delaware, over to this marker point, which is near Delmar. Delmar is a city that's actually broken up by the border. So half of the city is in Delaware, and half of it is in Maryland. And they were paid this amount of money. If it were adjusted for inflation today, it would be around $840,000 to do that kind of work. So along the way, about every mile, they put one of these stones. And the big stone here is the Mason-Dixon stone. There are two small survey stones in the back here that were determined by local surveyors to have been put here around 1750. One of the things that precipitated the territorial disputes, of course, were taxes. As you had more settlers coming into the area during the colonial times, it was important to ring the people for taxes. And so the more people you had, the larger your tax base, and that's largely what precipitated these land disputes. There are 4 historical markers here, 3 of which we know are boundary markers. The one on the left there, the large one, is the Mason-Dixon middle point marker. The one in the back, in the middle, looks like it has a jagged point coming up on the right. This was the Transpeninsular line marker, number 25, and they moved it here because of early road construction. The one on the far end, and it looks like it's almost like a tombstone, this was the original middle point marker. So that one there on the far right, and that was put there by the first team of surveyors. And then the 4th stone, the small one in the front, this is a mystery stone. And at least it was a mystery, they said, until about 1985. Apparently, someone found the stone, thought it resembled the stone north of the Middle Point Monument, and so he placed the dark gray stone there but it doesn't have any official significance. So the 3 in the back, from left, middle to right, are actual markers. And the 4th one, well, it's just to kind of throw you off. Now, if you look out here, you can imagine having to walk these lands in every direction. There's nothing but fields. It's an agricultural area, not much going on. But if you imagine this place hundreds of years ago, you get a good idea of what these guys were doing. And there were probably all sorts of dangers. Local Indian tribes were certainly one of those dangers. So guys, that was just a short and brief overview of the Transpeninsular Midpoint marker. If you're ever out here on Route 54 between Maryland and Delaware, you'll definitely be able to find it. It's not too hard. You can do some latitudinal, longitudinal searches on Google and find it, and that's how we were able to locate it. It was a little easier, but definitely check it out. Look at your maps, get out here, stop. It's on the side of the road. There's no fee involved. There's a little pull-in area for your car, and check out what made this country what it is today. Hey guys, thanks again for traveling with Trey. I appreciate it. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I'm always out doing things, and hope to bring you along with me. Thanks a lot.